Web Accessibility Perspectives. Video captions.
A man sat at a desk starts watching a video on his computer.
Video isn't just about pictures, it's also about sound. Without the audio, you'd have to guess what this film is about.
The video on his computer shows a person speaking to the camera. It is playing with no audio.
Frustrating, isn't it? Not knowing what's going on.
The man watching the video has a hearing aid.
That's the situation for everyone who can't hear.
He turns on captions for the video playing.
Captions make videos accessible, which is also handy for people who want to watch video in loud environments.
Another man is watching the captioned video with a group of people chatting away next to him.
Or where you need to be very, very quiet.
Turns out that they are in a library. The group is shushed by the librarian. The video is shown playing with the captions on.
Colours with good contrast.
Signs with directions are shown. A woman is walking happily down the street.
There's something about great design that allows it to go practically unnoticed. But it doesn't take much to make things confusing and frustrating. Choosing colours with poor contrast makes navigating, reading and interacting a real pain.
The signs change to have poor contrast. The woman now looks confused. She looks at a navigation app on her phone.
Good design means sufficient contrast between foreground and background colours. That's not just text and images, but links, icons and buttons.
The app has a button with low contrast that changes to become clear.
If it's important enough to be seen, then it needs to be clear. And this is essential for people with low contrast sensitivity, which becomes more common as we age.
An older man on a sofa is looking at a tablet. He goes to read a message on his mobile phone.
With good colours, websites and applications can be easier to use in more situations, like in different lighting conditions.
Sun glares on the phone, but the text is still readable.
Voice recognition. Imagine if you could only communicate with your family by writing.
A woman writes, "What would you like for breakfast?" and passes the note to the man next to her.
Sometimes it's just easier to speak. One of the advances of technology is voice recognition. Whether it's searching the web,
a man is using a tablet by voice.
19th century architecture.
Search results appear on the screen.
Dictating emails.
An older man is also using a tablet by voice.
Or controlling your navigation app.
A woman is speaking to her mobile phone and follows the directions on the screen.
Many people with physical disabilities rely on voice recognition to use the computer.
Place order.
A man with a wheelchair is using a headset for the computer.
But for that to happen, websites and apps need to be properly coded.
Nothing happens on the computer.
Cancel.
Voice recognition can help lots of other people with temporary limitations too, like an injured arm.
Place order.
A woman with her arm in a sling, successfully using voice.
It can also prevent injuries becoming worse, like RSI, repetitive stress injury.
A man is outside with a dog, taking voice notes on his mobile phone. Text-to-speech.
A man is using a laptop with the text on the screen being highlighted as it is spoken.
Some people can see the text on the screen. Fortunately, computers can convert text to speech.
It's technology that many people who are blind have been relying on for years.
A service dog is next to the man. He may be blind.
But it's also important for many people with dyslexia.
A woman is reading on a tablet and listening with headphones.
And very useful for people with difficulty reading text.
A man removes his glasses and listens to a news article on a tablet.
As well as some people who just like to multitask.
A man listens to a magazine article as they do the washing.
But for this to work, websites and apps have to be properly coded.
A website is not properly working for the woman with headphones. She is frustrated.
Which has the added benefit of helping search engines index websites' contents better.
The man with the service dog is using his mobile device outside with bone conduction headphones. Different people from earlier are shown using text-to-speech.
Clear layout and design. Poor layout can be very frustrating.
A man in a kitchen is looking for things to make a coffee.
And the same applies to the web. Good design involves good layout and that means a better user experience.
The man is frustrated about not finding what he is looking for. The man rearranges the kitchen in a time-lapse.
This includes clear headings, navigation bars, and consistent styling.
The man is now browsing a badly laid out pizza delivery website and is shaking his head.
Any web user will get frustrated with bad layout and design.
A woman is using the same complex website with screen magnification. She only sees a portion of the screen at a time, so the website appears even more confusing.
Complex layouts also make finding information difficult or impossible for people with visual disabilities.
The woman is shaking her head and is unable to use that website.
And they are confusing for people with cognitive and learning disabilities who need clarity and consistency of the presentation.
The man calls a friend over to help. The friend is just as confused and navigates to a different, better pizza website.
Bad design also impacts anyone who isn't particularly confident around computers.
This second website is much clearer and easier to use. They are both happy. The woman using screen magnification has also used that website and is delightfully eating a pizza.
Notifications and feedback. All the right gears can be put in motion. The hands can be at the exact place they need to be.
The hands on a cuckoo clock reach 12.
But if you don't get the response that you're expecting, you'll end up wondering if there's some sort of problem.
But the cuckoo bird does not pop out of its door to signal the time.
It's the same on the web. Without clear notifications and feedback, people are quickly disoriented and confused.
A man completes and submits a form on a website to get a rather blank screen with no confirmation for his submission. He looks confused.
Especially error messages, which are often complex and confusing.
Another man receives a technical error message from a website registration form. It reads, "Error EAD #234532, invalid data."
Yet making them understandable is usually quite simple.
The error message changes to say, "Invalid date, required format is day, month, year."
Making websites and apps predictable and understandable makes them accessible to people with cognitive and learning disabilities, and more usable for everyone.
A woman is trying to log into the Wi-Fi of a cafe and receives a cryptic error message. Other people at the cafe also seem to be having this problem.
Especially for people with lower computer skills.
The error message changes to something more understandable. The woman at the cafe looks relieved. The cuckoo bird pops out of the clock.
Large links, buttons and controls.
A woman tries to thread a needle, but misses.
Trying to hit a small target requires lots of effort. Many websites and applications try to thread the needle.
The woman fails to tap small links on a website.
But on the web, we can make areas for clicking and tapping larger and easier to use.
The links become larger in size and the woman now easily taps them.
Which is handy on mobile devices, especially when we might be moving around at the time.
The woman is using a tablet while preparing a coffee.
Which is critical for people with reduced dexterity.
Another woman with a hand trimmer is unable to navigate precisely with the mouse and fails to click small buttons on a website. The buttons become larger and the woman with the tremor is now able to click them. Customizable text. What's right for you doesn't necessarily work for the next person.
Toast with different levels of darkness.
Customization isn't always just a question of preference, though. Sometimes it's a necessity.
Two men are sitting with a toaster between them. One of the men turns the toaster dial.
Being able to adjust the text is crucial for people with low vision and dyslexia.
A woman puts on glasses to read a website on her laptop. The woman is squinting at the website with small text in an unusual font.
Properly coded websites and applications allow the text to be customized. For example, to change its size, spacing, font, and colors without loss of functions or clarity.
The woman uses the web browser settings to adjust the text size and style. It appears more legible, and the woman is relieved.
Understandable content.
Two people are trying to follow instructions on a cooking website, using lots of text with no illustrations or structure.
Instead of saying, "To postulate a conceit more irksome than being addressed in sesquipedalian syntax is adamantine," it is better to say, "Being spoken to in unnecessarily long and complicated language is a pain."
They are looking up words in a dictionary to understand the recipe.
Yet many websites lack structuring, using headings, lists, and separation. Or they use overly complex language, jargon, and unexplained acronyms.
They are confused and frustrated by the website.
It makes them difficult and unappealing to use for many people, including non-native speakers, and makes them unusable for people with cognitive and learning disabilities.
They search and find a different cooking website with more structured text and illustrations.
Web accessibility, essential for some, useful for all.
They successfully bake a delicious-looking cake and happily cut into it. Not being able to use your computer because your mouse doesn't work is frustrating.
A man drops his computer mouse off the desk. The computer mouse no longer works.
Many people use only the keyboard to navigate websites, either through preference or circumstance. Whether it's temporarily limited mobility,
A woman with her arm in a sling is typing on a keyboard, but the website requires the use of a mouse to select a date.
a permanent physical disability,
A man with a wheelchair is using a mouth stick to type.
or simply a broken mouse, the result is the same. Websites and apps need to be operable by keyboard.
He switches to a different website that allows typing the date.
Web accessibility, essential for some, useful for all. Visit w3.org/WAI/perspectives.